Hello, Rachel J here. Alright, so the last video was on how to design a box to fit any size object, and this is the template we got out of it. This time we're going to design a box to fit the paper. Say you have some beautiful paper that you don't want to just scrap out or make tags out of. You want a small box out of it. Well, this is how we're going to do it. So this one, there are 3 sets of numbers to make a box. Well, we only need 2 numbers really, the depth and the length of the longest side. So the depth you want, see, this is 3 inches. I want to do 3/4 of an inch. So we'll plug in 3/4 because this area right here is the depth and this is the spine, so this is also the depth. So you plug in those numbers here. Alright, you don't really need to worry about this number, but I'm going to put it in anyway. So 1.5. Alright, now this one is, okay, 3 3/4. Nice, handy. Alright, so 3/4 in, another 1.5 inches. Okay, so that gives us 1.5 inches to work with. 1.5 inches divided by 2. Okay, it's going to be 3/4 again. Okay, so, alright, oops. Keep doing that, switching my numbers. Alright, so the depth dictates the other numbers. And the only reason you need to know the number of this side is so you can subtract this, this, and that. Alright, so where's my board? There's my board. Let's go ahead and see what we get when we do this. 3/4, 3/4, and again, one more time. This is 1, 2, 3 done, so we just have to do the center 2 lines. So alright, and we have 5 sections of equal length. Alright. Now, first up, here's my scissors. There are my scissors. First up, notch in the outermost corners, and then we're going to figure out which is the topmost and which is the bottom. Alright, these are pretty darn even, so it doesn't really matter which one is top. So we're going to fold it and score it and crease it. Alright, so check again. And yeah, it really doesn't matter which side is up. Alright, I don't have my usual punch, so I'm just going to use this little itty tiny one. Notch out right there. The little finger tab so you get something to grab on, so when you're trying to lift it, you can get a thumbnail in there. Alright, so since this is the top, because it has a notch, we're going to slope up these 2 here. And then notch in. Fold these 2 in, flip it up. I use a corner rounder. That's too much. Let's try this smaller one. It's much more reasonable. I use those on the top of the box, which is these 2. These 3 are the bottom of the box, the basin. And I cut on either side of the lines because it gives me a tidier box. I don't want to see remnants of the crease when I'm looking at the corners of the box. Personal preference. We all have our little quirks. So the nice thing about this is it's a good way to use up your scrappy bits and your odds and ends. And if you find that you really like a particular size or shape, you know, you end up making something odd like this, and you find it's extremely useful for a particular gift, well, you just make up a little template and save it for later, and you can, if I can get a better grip on this, you can revisit the box at a later time. You can also make a bunch of these and keep them folded flat, or keep them spread out flat rather than gluing and folding them up, and store them that way. Alright, so I'm going to trim the first, third, and fifth tabs on both sides to roughly a little bit larger than the tape I use. Alright. See, I like this stuff. This works for me. It's pretty good stuff. Alright, so don't need huge quantities of tape. You don't need huge flaps. This is such a small box that if you don't trim down the flaps, they're going to overlap each other. So that is another reason to trim down the flaps. Now I also use a pair of tweezers when I'm putting on the tape, so I can actually see where I'm placing stuff. I also do the same thing with embellishments. I use a pair of tweezers to put them on because otherwise my big fat fingers are in the way and I can't see if I have things lined up just so. So if you have a pair of tweezers, use them. If you don't, I pick these up for $1.50 at Daiso at the mall. Sometimes you can find a mediocre but perfectly efficient pair of tweezers at the dollar store, you know, whatever dollar store you have in your area. Alright, when I'm folding a box, I start with the bottom and then I wrap the top over it. I do this for a reason. Every once in a while, my measurements are ever so slightly off, and I'll make the top and it doesn't quite want to fit on the bottom, so I'll put it on and then I'll take it off and I'll open it up, and then I won't be able to get it closed again. And you can bet that if you, the maker, have that problem, the person who gets it and opens it is going to have even more trouble with it. Alright, so always, 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 the bottom first, like so, all three sides, and then wrap the top around it. So fold these in place so you get an idea of the fit, and then lift one side, peel the tape off, fold it, and then lift the other side, tape off, fold it. This ensures you have a perfect fit on your box. And you have just designed a box to fit the paper you have. And something like this is tiny. What can we put in here? Oh, alright. This is a little charm I make. This is a little scroll. I'll do a video on these later. These are my personal goals on a scroll. And something like this would be a fun gift for someone who would use this kind of thing. Or even just little girls. So, you know, a little bit of paper in here, toss your little charm in, and you have a perfect box for something small. And even better, you can take a box like this, snip the teeniest, tiniest bit out. This is very small. Very, very small bit removed. And then I've got this from another project left over. And you just take your bit of ribbon and you tuck it in that little corner you snipped out, and you close your lid, and just like that you have something that hangs. So all you need to do is put some embellishments on it. You know, leftover scrappy bits of paper. I go after them with my various hole punchers. So you know what? If you do any paper crafts, you're bound to have loads of those in different colors. Maybe some flowers or leaves or other flowers. What's this? That's pictures. So, you know, don't waste your scraps. Use them as tags, punch them out for decorative bits, or make little teeny tiny boxes. You know, something this size, you can put a Tootsie Roll in it and hang it on your Christmas tree. I like the Eat the Tree game. That's always fun. So don't waste your scraps. Use them. Make little boxes, make whatever. Anyway, have a nice night.